So, Act 1 to 4. Basically, this is my leveling route. This is what I plan to take as I move forward throughout the campaign. Again, as I mentioned here, all the palm has been nerfed. There's a buff to the Soul Springs Eternal, and the Monk's got a new AoE clusters, which we'll have a look at. This is great. Alright, it's great for clear, it's easy to play. Again, there's no weapon swapping, and the campaign, you get decent staff, you'll breeze through it. But you get staff with basically melee skills, you're going to struggle. Alright, you might find yourself struggling for mana. And then again, it is melee. Don't get too cocky, okay? Don't think because, oh, I've been battering a few people that I'll fly through it. You'll get humbled. So, Act 1, basically we want to build defenses, alright? We want to get as much like armor or energy shield as possible. Armor seems to be the best to avoid physical damage right early on. So, go for like an armor chest. But you want to get yourself a decent quarterstaff, 2 rings, and then an energy shield helmet. And the reason why we're going to branch down to subterfused mask. So we want to take Glacial Cascade with Elemental Armament and Concentrated Area, Frozen Locust with Cold Attunement, and then Temper Spell with Abundance, and then Ice Strike with Rapid Attacks and Elemental Armament, Rage and Temper Spell. And then eventually you take Herald of Ice once you get your 30 Spirit. So this is the passive tree. We want to go up, again, we're going to take some attack damage, and we're going to get Flow Like Water, Mindful Awareness, Step Like the Mist, and Essence of the Mountain. Then we're going to get Flow State for more skill speed and the mana regen, and then we're going to take Concussive Attacks. Okay, this should give you a decent amount of energy shield, a decent amount of evasion, pair that with some armor, and a decent amount of damage. And then we're going to start to branch down to here, to Subterfuge Mask. Alright, so Act 2. Remember, you get passive points. You should finish around about level 30-ish. You might finish a little bit earlier than that, depending on how quick you've breezed through the game. But you may notice now we've started to branch down to here. We've taken Blinding Strike. We're taking Agile Succession for more attack speed and more evasion if you've hit an enemy. So this here gives you 50% evasion if you've hit an enemy, and then it gives you 9% attack speed. So it's a big buff in damage. And then Subterfuge Mask, because it gives you evasion based on the energy shield and equipped helmet. We move up to take our first Jewel Socket, and then we can take Killer Instinct. What we've added basically to Ice Strike is Crescendo, and then we've added Concentrated Area for Herald of Ice, and then Herald of Thunder. How it plays is, for Act 1, realistically, just drop your Frozen Locust, hit it with Glacial Cascade. It'll shatter. Once you get Ice Strike's going to be your main go-to. Do a few hits, drop Temper Spell, hit, basically. That's what it's going to be. If you get a bit into a sticky situation, roll out, use Glacial Cascade to do some ranged attacks. Then, Act 3, this is where things get, like, quite juicy. We have then taken Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm should be able to carry you quite far towards the end game. What you'll find now is you also gain Charged Staff. So Shattering Palm, I would just basically lunge into enemies with Shattering Palm, which will freeze them or shatter them. Pair this with Combat Frenzy, and then when you take Resonance, you will gain Power Charges. Activate your Charged Staff, you'll see Ice Strike's damage increase significantly, and then basically you run around using a mixed combo of Ice Strike, Temper Spell, and Shattering Palm. Okay, Herald of Thunder is there as well, just for extra damage, and then Ice Nova is there for freeze. So you do quite a lot of freeze damage, okay? So this is all built around freeze and shatters. What we've decided to take then is, we decided to take Resonance, and then we moved up and got Spectral Ward, which is evasion on the body armor. If you're running a full energy shield body armor, don't take Spectral Ward, okay? And then we've moved down and we've taken Martial Artistry for critical damage bonus on the Quarterstaff and some accuracy and some dexterity. So this is fixing your stats as well as your HP and survivability. Then Act 4. Act 4 is when we start to build towards Flicker Strike. Okay, so by the end of Act 4, realistically, you should be around about level 52. So you should be able to get Flicker Strike. So Ice Strike, same ones except we put Rage on it now. We've now got Reaper's Invocation, which is basically a cheaper version of Cast on Crit, which will allow us to gain some power charges every time we do a melee hit. So basically what you do is you drop Combat Frenzy, drop Resonance. You would then use Flicker Strike or Ice Strike, build up Reaper's Invocation's melee, activate it, which then will use Profane Ritual to generate power charges, which then will allow you to activate Charged Staff. The power charges will then give you a boost with charge regulation, and then you can use Charged Staff again to strike, Flicker Strike, and then activate Reapers. Remember, this is manual, okay? If you happen to have Aelish Charms, okay, you can remove Reaper's Invocation, and you can use Hand of Chiola with Sniper's Mark, Culmination, and Aelish Chimes. Depends if you have this. I don't actually know when it drops, I just remember I got it quite early. So, we've taken Overflowing Power for some power charges, Power Within for, again, more power charges, Deadly Force for some critical hit chance, Follow Jugular for critical damage bonus, and then True Strike for critical hit chance as well. And this again fixes stats. Then onto the interludes. This is where things start to really go towards like an endgame build or early maps. So we started to gain more skills in Flicker Strike, as you can see, close combat, overextend, never got critical. We can run cast on critical, but if you want to remain with Repersonification, you can do just until you get a bit more critical hit chance. If you haven't got close to 100% critical hit chance, then don't run cast on critical, run Reapers. Shattering Palm is there if you want to run Shattering or Hand of Chayula. I personally will be running Hand of Chayula. Charge Regulation, again, is there to get the charges and get the buffs. Herald of Thunder, Charge Staff, and Herald of Ash. So we've dropped Herald of Ice between them two. They work really well. And then Charge Staff is like the power increase. Mantra Destruction will give you like basically melee buffs and stuff like that. Ideally, the priority is Ice Strike, Flicker Strike, and then enabling Flicker Strike, so either with Reapers or cast on crit. And on the interludes, you can see we've come around here, we've taken some critical hit chance and took Wind of the Storm. Then we've taken Critical Exploit, and then we've gone and taken Pure Energy and Dampening Shield to give us basically more stun resistance and stun thresholds. And then we move into maps, so we move into like endgame and stuff, and that's when you can start to branch down here. That will be updated as I get into maps. I currently have one like on, which is this one, but as I said, it all depends on how it changes. If I could drop all this resolve or stuff like that, this endgame will be a work in progress. So I've ranted on for quite a long time now. I'm going to be live tonight from 6 PM GMT streaming my progress through, so jump on in if you've got any problems. If you need any help or support or anything like that, leave a comment below, jump in my Discord, the link will be below. Yeah, see you tonight, stay safe, and peace.